photosynthesis, I told you, I discussed with you in the last class that if you remember the reaction of photosynthesis, if you remember the equation of photosynthesis, then the raw materials, they become very simple, right? Sunlight, chlorophyll, carbon dioxide, water, these are the raw materials which are required for photosynthesis. Okay, then the main events of photosynthesis, and this part, it is very important. This part is very important, right? Main events of photosynthesis, these lines, bachcho, these lines, they are directly picked from NCERT. And NCERT, again, I'm going to repeat, it is very important for your board exams or any other competitive exam that you're planning to give. Okay, so the main events of photosynthesis: absorption of light energy by chlorophyll pigment. This chlorophyll pigment is present in chloroplast, right? And chloroplast is what? It is green colored plastic. Chloroplast is green colored plastic, right? Then conversion of light energy to chemical energy. Another question is forming here. Conversion of light energy to chemical energy and splitting of water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. So the water molecule is splitting here into hydrogen and oxygen, and this is the reaction which is actually happening. This is what? This is photolysis of water. Photolysis of water. If you remember, we had read about the light reaction and the dark reaction, the two parts, the two processes, or the two phases which are happening in the process of photosynthesis, and photolysis of water was part of light reaction. Okay, so this reaction is again very important. This is called as the photolysis of water. Water is broken down here. Okay, then the third main event is reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates, right? So these three main events we had discussed in detail in the last class. Next, I will quickly recall, or I will quickly review the light reaction and the dark reaction we did. See, in the light reaction, what we learned was, for the light reaction, we learned that where is it taking place? First is the site of the reaction. Site of the reaction is granar region of chloroplast. In the last class, we learned the structure of the chloroplast. So where is this light reaction taking place? This light reaction is taking place in granar region of chloroplast. Okay, then the main event in the light reaction, as I discussed, this is what? Photolysis of water. Now, as a result of photolysis of water, there were these electrons released, there were these protons released, and oxygen was getting released, right? So this oxygen, it goes into the atmosphere, right? It goes into the atmosphere, and the electrons and the protons that are used, they are used up for production of assimilatory power. They are used up for production of assimilatory power. Okay, what assimilatory power? The NADPH and the ATP. See here in the diagram, it is very clear. Light reaction is happening in the granar region. ATP and NADPH, they are being formed. Assimilatory powers are being formed. If we talk about the dark reaction, if we recall dark reaction, the dark reaction happens in the stroma. The location is stroma of the chloroplast. And here now see the assimilatory powers, the NADPH and the ATP, which were formed in the light reaction, they are utilized in the dark reaction. They are getting utilized in this Calvin cycle. Okay, and what is happening? The carbon dioxide, it is being reduced to sugar. The carbon dioxide is giving us sugar. Okay, so in the dark reaction, what is happening? The assimilatory power, the assimilatory power is being utilized is being utilized for production of carbohydrate, right? For production of carbohydrate. So this all was about light reaction and dark reaction that we did in the last class. Okay, now I am writing a very important statement that photosynthesis. Now we have learned almost everything about photosynthesis. So now I can say that photosynthesis is a redox reaction. Photosynthesis, just a minute. Yeah, photosynthesis is a redox reaction, right? Photosynthesis is a redox reaction. Why are we calling it redox reaction? We are calling it because during this oxidation of water occurs. Oxidation of water occurs. Why am I saying that oxidation of water is occurring? As it provides, as this water, as we saw the reaction of photolysis of water, as it provides protons and electrons, right? During photolysis of water, electrons and protons were getting released, and so what is actually happening here? Oxidation of water is happening here, and during light reaction, this is happening during light reaction, the light dependent part or the light dependent reaction. Okay, and reduction of carbon dioxide occurs during dark reaction, so bachcho, what is happening here? In the same reaction, oxidation is occurring and reduction is occurring. That's why photosynthesis is what? It is a redox reaction. A very important point that photosynthesis is a redox reaction. Okay, now let's move further. Now, next important structure is stomata. Stomata, you guys, you all know about stomata. These are the tiny pores present in the epidermis of the leaf, and you know the structure of the stomata is very simple. We will be discussing it in the next slide. So what are stomata? These are the tiny pores present in the epidermis of the leaf or stem, to which gaseous exchange and transpiration occurs. So this line itself is giving away the functions of stomata. Okay, functions of stomata. It is a very basic question, though it is commonly asked in your board exams. Okay, so both the functions, the gaseous exchange and transpiration, you should be clear about both the. You should be clear about both the functions. Okay, so the function of the stomata is exchange of gases. Gases is oxygen and carbon dioxide, and loses large amount of water during transpiration. So process of transpiration is how are you going to define the process of transpiration? It is the loss of water. It is the loss of water in form of water vapor, in form of water vapor from aerial parts of plant, from aerial parts of plant. Okay, definition of transpiration is very important. Definition of transpiration, again I am repeating, it is very important. Okay, so the two functions of the stomata are what? They are the gaseous exchange and the transpiration. The exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide is happening through these tiny pores, as well as as well as the loss of the water. Whatever the excessive water is there in the plant, it is being lost. It is being lost from stomata. So these are the two important functions of stomata. Okay, now let's see how the stomata is looking, how it looks. So again, the diagram part is very important. But your biology is all about diagrams. A lot of things revolve around diagrams in biology. Okay, so you can be asked as a 2-marker or a 3-marker question that draw a well-labeled diagram of stomata, open and close both. So both you should be able to draw. Now here we see these bean-shaped cells. These are called as the guard cells. Okay, these are called as the guard cells. The main function of these guard cells is to regulate. The main function of these guard cells is to regulate opening and closing of stomata. Okay, the main function of the guard cells is to regulate the opening and the closing of the stomata. Now the question is that how? So basically what happens is when a guard cells uptake water from the surrounding cells, surrounding में कौन से cells है? Epidermal cells है. So if the guard cell is taking up water from the surrounding cells, then it becomes turgid, it swells up. And as a result of that, the stomata, the stoma, it opens up. Okay, and if the guard cell, it loses water, if it becomes, flaccid, if it loses water, then what happens? Stomata, the stoma, it closes. Okay, so the opening, this is also important, that how the opening and the closing of the stomatal pores is regulated. The opening and closing of the stomatal pores is controlled by the turgidity of the guard cells. When guard cells uptake water from the surrounding cells, they swell to become a turgid body, which enlarges the pore in between the stomatal opening. Okay, and while water is released, they become flaccid. Okay, while water is released ka matlab, what is happening? The water is being lost from here. Okay, if the guard cell loses water into the surrounding or into the epidermal cell, and as a result of this, what will happen? It is going to shrink, it is going to become flaccid, and if it becomes flaccid, then what will happen? The stomata, it will close. Okay, so this is stomatal closing. So it is all revolving, the complete function of opening and closing of the stomata is revolving around the turgidity of the guard cells. If guard cells are turgid, then stomata is going to be open. If guard cells are flaccid, then stomata will be closed. Okay, so this is important. The diagram here, stoma open, stoma closed, is again very important. You have to label all the parts, the nucleus, the chloroplast, the huge vacuole. Again, huge vacuole is characteristic of plant cell. The guard cell, the cell wall, you can label the cell membrane also. Okay, now let's move further. I hope I'm clear on the stomata part. Now next is significance of photosynthesis. We have learned in detail now the process of photosynthesis. Now we need to understand that what exactly is the need of photosynthesis. Okay, so photosynthesis, it is the main way through which solar energy is made available to different living organisms. Definitely, we cannot convert solar energy. We as human beings, we cannot convert solar energy into chemical energy, right? Photosynthesis is a way through which solar energy is being available to the different living organisms, right? Plants are the one which are capturing that solar energy, converting it into chemical energy, and maybe, the plants, they are being eaten by the herbivores, and so on. The solar energy, it is being made available to the different living beings on Earth. Okay, then green plants, they are the main producers of food in ecosystem, right? Obviously, because plants only have that capacity. Plants, they are the producers, right? We as human beings, again, we are heterotrophs. We are not producers. We can't synthesize our own food. Okay, so all the organisms, directly or indirectly, they are dependent on green plants for food, right? if we take an example of a कार्निवोर, अगर एक कार्निवोर भी है तो वो हर्बीवोर पे डिपेंडेंट है, बट वो हर्बीवोर भी किस पे डिपेंडेंट है, एक प्लांट पे डिपेंडेंट है, राइट? तो अगर हर्बीवोर नहीं होगा तो कार्निवोर नहीं होगा, राइट? सो इनडायरेक्टली, directly or indirectly, what is happening, all the living organisms, they are dependent on plants for food. Okay, so first point is that solar energy, it is being made available to the different living beings, and green plants, they are the main producers. So all other organisms, directly or indirectly, they depend on green plants for food. Okay, then next is that the process of photosynthesis, it helps in maintaining the balance of carbon dioxide and oxygen in the air. We know the reaction of photosynthesis, what was happening, carbon dioxide plus water, it gives glucose and oxygen, right? This is an unbalanced reaction. So here we just need to understand that what is happening. See, carbon dioxide is taken in and oxygen is released from the plants. So what is happening? It is participating in carbon cycle and oxygen cycle, right? So it helps in maintaining a balance of carbon dioxide and oxygen in the air. Okay, so all these 3 points, again, they are very important, that why photosynthesis is important. Okay, now I hope I'm clear on this part, and let's move further. Okay, so another important part is nutrition in amoeba. Now see, amoeba, although it is unicellular, the first thing that can cross your mind is that amoeba being unicellular, being highly simple, it may obtain nutrition by process of simple diffusion. To know that is not the case. Nutrition in amoeba follows a proper mode of nutrition. It follows holozoic mode of nutrition. Okay, amoeba has holozoic mode of nutrition. That means it is taking in the food as a whole, it is taking the complex food inside, and then inside the body there are these processes happening: digestion, absorption, assimilation, and ingestion. If you guys remember from the first lecture, the steps of the holozoic nutrition, they were ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and ingestion. Okay, so the mode of nutrition in case of amoeba is holozoic mode of nutrition. Don't confuse it with the simplicity of the organism. Although it is unicellular, but the mode of the nutrition that is followed here, it is holozoic mode of nutrition. So as I said, what will happen? There are these 5 steps. Now see, in the diagram, what is happening? There is this food particle. So what happens? The cell membrane or the plasma membrane is extended around this food particle. And this is what? This is pseudopodia or false food, right? This is pseudopodia or false food, which is getting formed here. Now this pseudopodia, eventually it is going to enlarge like this and it is going to meet like this. So what has happened? The process of ingestion has happened, right? The food particle, वो कहाँ चला गया? वो अंदर चला गया है amoeba में, right? So process of ingestion has happened. Now what has happened? See here, we can see a structure called as food vacuole. So this is a bag, this is a vacuole which is containing the food particle. Now eventually what happens, this is just the first step of the process of holozoic nutrition which has happened, that is ingestion. Now next is digestion. So what will happen, the enzymes will be released inside the vacuole and this complex food particle will be converted into simple food particle. Okay, digestion hota hi ye hai, right? The complex food substance or the complex food is converted into simple food. Now, once in amoeba, this process of digestion has happened, what will happen? Whatever the important substances are which are required by the body of the amoeba, they will be absorbed in the cytoplasm. Okay, so this is the next step of holozoic nutrition, that is absorption. Now assimilation, if you guys remember, what was assimilation? Assimilation was utilization of this food for energy or growth or reproduction. So here what amoeba can do, amoeba can maybe grow in size, right? Amoeba can grow in size or it may use this food for reproduction. So there are various things which amoeba can do with this food, okay? So basically utilization is assimilation. And then the last part is egestion. So what will happen once the important substances, they are absorbed in the cytoplasm, this food vacuole, it is still containing the, you know, the waste product. So what will happen, this food vacuole, it will move towards the cell membrane, and the contents, they will be expelled out here, the waste products, okay, and the waste products, basically they will be removed out from the body of the amoeba, okay. So here the thing that you guys need to remember is holozoic mode of nutrition. अगर basic चीजें याद नहीं है तो इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर नहीं लिख पाओगे, ठीक है। अगर मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन ही नहीं लर्न किया, then the answer, then you can't write the answer definitely, okay. So amoeba is a unicellular animal which follows holozoic mode of nutrition. In holozoic nutrition, the digestion of the food follows after ingestion of the food. Thus, digestion takes place inside the body of organism. Yes, digestion is taking place inside the body of organism. Now, holozoic nutrition helps in the 5 steps that you guys are already aware of. So now, amoeba, it is a unicellular animal which follows holozoic mode of nutrition. The cell membrane of amoeba keeps on protruding into pseudopodia, the false food that we saw in the diagram. When amoeba surrounds a food particle with pseudopodia and makes a food vacuole. The food vacuole contains food particles and water. The digestive enzymes are secreted in the food vacuole, and then the next step, that is the digestion, that takes place. After that, the digested food is absorbed from the food vacuole, and finally the food vacuole moves near the cell membrane and the undigested food is expelled out. Okay, so all these steps we saw here in the diagram, how the process of ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and ingestion was occurring. Okay, so I hope nutrition in amoeba part is clear. This is again, you know, one of the favorite questions of examiner, can be asked in your board exams also. So nutrition in amoeba along with the diagrams. Okay, I'm repeating, along with the diagrams, it is very important. Now next, these are the steps of the holozoic nutrition that you guys are already aware of: ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation. Again, I'm going to repeat, the confusion happens in the definition of assimilation. So what is assimilation? The process of utilization of digested food for energy, for growth and repair is called assimilation. Okay, so whatever the food that has been digested and absorbed, now it needs to be utilized for the different processes. Okay, so that process of utilization of digested food is nothing but assimilation. Okay, rest all the steps are very simple. You should be now able to follow the steps of the holozoic nutrition. Okay, now the next important part of the chapter is nutrition in human beings. We are done with the photosynthesis part. If you guys have any doubts in the photosynthesis part, please put it down into the comment section and I will take it up in the next class. Okay, so nutrition in human beings, again we have moved on to the heterotropic nutrition, and if we further want to classify the nutrition in human beings, then we have holozoic mode of nutrition. Okay, so first we are going to learn that what does human digestive system comprise of, what is it made of. Okay, so human digestive system, it is composed of an alimentary canal and some accessory glands. So this is very important. Human digestive system, I'm talking about the human digestive system. It is composed of alimentary canal, and there are certain accessory glands which are associated with the alimentary canal. Okay, alimentary canal, it is further divided into several parts like esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. All these parts we will see in a very beautiful diagram, so don't worry. And then there are certain associated glands which are not part of the alimentary canal, but they are participating or they are helping in the process of digestion. Those are salivary glands, the liver, the pancreas. These are all what? These are all the accessory glands which lie outside the alimentary canal. These are all associated glands or the accessory glands. Okay, so the structure of the human digestive system, it comprises of alimentary canal and associated digestive glands. This line again very important. Confusion नहीं रखना है कि क्या है human digestive system. Okay, human digestive system में दो parts हैं. First is alimentary canal and second is associated digestive glands. I am repeating it. The human digestive system, it comprises of alimentary canal and associated digestive glands. Okay, so now we will take up all these things one by one. We are going to discuss the parts of the alimentary canal and the associated digestive glands one by one. And along with these parts, we will learn the process of digestion also. आप लोगों ने खाना खा लिया है, खाना कहाँ से लेते हैं अंदर? Mouth से, right? So once the food enters, then we are going to learn the whole process, how the process of digestion is happening, what are the events which are happening in the process of digestion, where the digestion of carbohydrates is happening, proteins is happening, fats is happening, which enzymes are involved, and what are the functions of the different parts of the alimentary canal and the glands which are associated with it. Okay, so first is again same thing. It is saying that alimentary canal, it comprises of mouth, esophagus, stomach, the small intestine, the large intestine, and these are the associated glands. Okay, so now let's start with the first part of the alimentary canal, that is the mouth or the buccal cavity. ओके, माउथ और द बकल कैविटी. तो अगर हम अपना माउथ खोल के देखेंगे, हमें दो बहुत प्रोमिनेंट चीजें दिखती है. दैट इज द टीथ. We see two very prominent things, the teeth and the tongue, right? We see two very prominent things, the teeth and the tongue. Now the tongue, it has gustatory receptors. What are these gustatory receptors for? See here, there is a zoomed in, there is a magnified view of these, the commonly we call them as taste buds. So this is the magnified view. So see here, these gustatory receptors are present which perceive the sense of the taste, right? The tongue, it has gustatory receptors which perceive the sense of the taste. You need to remember the name of the receptor also, that which receptor is present on the tongue and what is the function. It is helping us in perceiving the sense of the taste. Okay, so the two prominent structures, teeth and tongue. Now the tongue, it helps in turning over the food so that saliva can be properly mixed in. Correct, right? You must have eaten food and you yourself must have observed that what is happening in the mouth. The tongue is helping in the mixing of the food with the saliva. Okay, then another important function of the tongue is that it helps in articulation of speech also. It helps in articulation of speech also. This is also one of the functions of tongue, that it is helping in speech. Okay, so it helps in articulation of speech also. Then next is teeth. So teeth are basically doing what? Teeth are basically helping in breaking down the food into smaller particles. Okay, we have eaten a huge food particle. What is teeth doing? Teeth is breaking them down into into smaller particles. Okay, it is breaking down them into smaller particles so that swallowing becomes simple. Okay, so this is the function of the teeth, the chewing that we do, right? Teeth, they help us in chewing, they help in tearing the food, they help in biting the food. Basically, what are they doing? They are helping in breaking down the food into the smaller particles. Okay, So here, the functions of the tongue has gustatory receptors which perceive the sense of the taste. The function of the tongue, all the three functions of the tongue are very important. Okay, and teeth, the main function of the teeth is that it helps in breaking down of the food into smaller particles. Okay, I hope I'm clear. I'm very clear on this part. Now we will start very important thing. We will learn a little bit about teeth. Okay, we will learn few terminologies which are revolving around the teeth. Okay, and then we will learn about the different types of the teeth that are present in a mouth. Okay, so the teeth, they are the hard structures which are meant for tearing, cutting, crushing, and holding food. Now, human teeth. Now, specifically, we are talking about the human teeth here. Okay, now there are three new terminologies, three completely new terminologies for you guys. That human teeth, they are thecodont. Now, the term thecodont, what does it mean? That teeth is embedded in the sockets of the jawbone. अगर किसी ने भी braces का treatment orthodontic treatment कभी करवाया है और उसके लिए अपने दांत को निकलवाया है, एक्सट्रैक्शन ऑफ द टूथ करवाया है, उस टाइम पे नोटिस किया होगा कि हमारे जो टीथ होते हैं वो वेल प्लेस्ड होते हैं सॉकेट्स के अंदर. There are these sockets in the jawbone in which a particular teeth is placed properly, is placed firmly. Okay, so this kind of condition is called as thecodont condition. So we have in humans, they have their teeth which are properly embedded in the sockets of the jawbone. Okay, then next is heterodont. Heterodont means presence of different types of teeth. Right, everybody must be knowing that we have four types of teeth, right? We have different. Hetero means what? The term hetero means different, right? So we have different types of teeth. We have incisors, we have canines, we have premolars, and we have molars, right? Okay, so that's why the term that we are using here is heterodont, right? We have different types of teeth. There are animals which have same type of teeth. So there we refer the term homodont for them. Okay, but we are talking about the human teeth. So human teeth कैसे होते हैं? Human teeth are heterodont, presence of different types of teeth. Okay, now the next terminology is diphyodont. Diphyodont means there is appearance of two sets of teeth during the lifespan. Two sets of the teeth in human beings refers to one is the milk tooth, right? Milk teeth or the milk dentition or the deciduous dentition. And the next one is the permanent teeth that we are getting, right? बचपन में सबको पता है दूध के दांत आते हैं, उसके बाद हमारे एक और सेट आते हैं जिसको हम permanent tooth बोलते हैं. ठीक है, so we have basically two sets of teeth which are occurring during their lifespan, and this condition is called as the diphyodont condition. See, the term here don't is referring to the dentition. Okay, so di means two. So here what is it's saying, that diphyodont, it means appearance of two sets of teeth during lifespan. Okay, we have one is the milk dentition and the other one is the permanent dentition. Milk dentition को हम एक और term दे सकते हैं, दांत बोलते हैं ना, दूध के दांत आएंगे, दूध के दांत टूट जाएंगे, उसके पक के दांत आएंगे. That पक के दांत is what they are, the permanent dentition. So these three different types of teeth, that is incisors, canines, premolars, and molars, which are carrying out their respective functions. Okay, and then diphyodont, it is appearance of two sets of teeth during lifespan. One is the दूध के दांत and the second one is the permanent dentition. Okay, so now let's learn a little more about the incisors, right? As we discussed, that human teeth are heterodont. They have different types of teeth: incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. So incisors, they are present at the front of the mouth. They have sharp edges and are adapted for cutting food into small chewable pieces, right? They have sharp edges You guys must have seen the incisors, right? This is the root of the teeth. We will learn the structure of the teeth also in detail. So this is how an incisor look if I remove it out of the socket. This is the root part. This is the root part which is embedded in the socket, which is covered by the gums, and this is the crown part. So we can see that, it has sharp edges and it is adapted for cutting the food into small chewable pieces. Okay. Now, important part is that humans, they have 8 incisors, 4 incisors in the upper jaw and 4 in the lower jaw. We definitely have an upper jaw and a lower jaw, right? Now humans, they have 8 incisors beta. जो rabbit teeth होते हैं आप लोगों ने देखे होंगे upper jaw के अंदर, those are the incisors. Okay, so we have central incisors, we have central incisors, and just adjacent to the central incisors are the lateral incisors. Okay, so we have 2 central incisors in the upper arch, 2 in the lower arch, and similarly 2 lateral incisors in the upper arch and 2 lateral incisors in the lower arch. So there are in total 8 incisors, 4 incisors in the upper jaw and 4 in the lower jaw. Now here, what you guys need to remember is, you guys need to remember the function of the incisors and the number of the incisors. That is also important. Okay, now next tooth is canines. Canines are also called as cuspids. They are situated at the corners of the dental arches. Prominent canines, they are considered as a beautifying feature for humans. If you have a prominent canine, then it is considered as a very good aesthetic feature in dentistry. Okay, so canines, they are characteristically sharp, elongated, and pointy surface because their main function is what, tearing and gripping of the food. The carnivores, they have such prominent canines. Their canines are also elongated and they're very prominent. Okay, because their main diet is what? Their main diet is tough food such as meat. So there, the gripping and the tearing is very much required. Okay, so they are characteristically sharp, elongated, and they have pointy surface. Their primary function is to grip and tear the food, tough food such as meat. Now, human, the count of the canines in humans is 4. Okay, 2 in the upper jaw and 2 in the lower jaw. पहले आए incisors, incisors में भी हमने क्या पढ़े, central incisor आया और उसके बाद lateral incisor आया. अब जो next दांत आने वाला है वो कौन सा, वो है canines. Okay, so humans, they have 4 canines, 2 in the upper jaw and 2 in the lower jaw. The function, again, I'm going to repeat, it is important. The function is to grip and tear the food. Okay, and tough food such as meat. Okay, so I hope I am clear on the different terminologies that we have learned today, the thecodont, heterodont, diaphyodont, and then we have discussed 2 teeth today, incisors and canines. Premolars and molars we will be discussing in the next class. And guys, stay tuned for the next class also. We will be learning a lots of fun stuff, lots of new stuff. Okay, so I hope the today's lecture that we did is clear. You guys understood everything. If you guys have any doubts, then please put it in the comment section. I will pick it up in the next class. Okay, so the today's session, I hope you guys liked it. So like the video and subscribe to our channel and do share it with all of your friends. Okay, here we are, we are trying to teach very important things of, we are basically, helping you to build a foundation here, a very, nice foundation we are trying to build. So, spread the information as much as you can, tell your friends about this course and join us, and, the learning should go on. Okay, so I will be ending the today's lecture here. And stay safe, guys. Bye-bye.